Did you read the YouTube comments for last episode of Number One Boys?
Well, I mean, you gotta understand that a lot of that is like botnet. That's like Russian.
Will you just tell me the
block.
Just tell me the good ones, even if it's bots.
The good ones.
Even an algorithm sometimes says something nice, right?
Hello and welcome to Number One Boys, a Succession after show from The Ringer. This is Jason Concepcion.
Yeah.
I am Chris Ryan. We are here to talk about the season 2 finale of Succession. Thank you for waiting for us. Let's get into our thoughts about the finale.
Oh my gosh.
Because you had basically a kind of slapstick screwball hour on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
That ended with like Shakespeare power moves to the family.
Circular firing squad involving every member of the Roy family inner circle, plus the C-suite execs, all trying to insert knives into each other's fronts.
Yeah, they were sitting right there as they
just
were
like
going in.
Hey, no big deal, but like I think this person is bad and probably should take totally emotions out of it. But like, what if we just threw this person?
I
overboard?
love Kendall's caveats about like laboratory thinking,
right.
no emotions,
emotion.
You're dead.
Yeah.
I want to present like a working theory of what I think just happened.
You're talking about the turn at the end when Kendall.
But also just sort of like an umbrella theory, not even like a theory like what it means, but just so much of this season has taken place in between episodes. We didn't get to see a lot of the plotting and scheming that we did in season 1, for better or for worse. And I think that basically this is where we're at, and we'll see whether season 3, which I think is a near certainty, lock, guarantee to come next year. But the theory basically is that Kendall and Shiv hatched some form of this plan in some way at the end of Safe Room. If you guys remember in Safe Room at the end, that's where Shiv kind of confronts Kendall and is like, why are you Dad's basically blood boy right now? And Ken is like, I cannot tell you. Right. And Shiv kind of presses him and is like, is it going to be you or are you going to be the next CEO? And remember, he says that great line, it's not going to be me, it ain't going to be me. It's alluded to this, and at the end of that, he's like, if you become the CEO, if you take over this business, please look out for me, because I don't know what I am if I'm not this.
Yeah.
We don't really touch on it that much until the end of The Return, when they're flying back from London, and Shiv calls Kendall while he's on the plane, and Rhea's on the plane with Logan, and she says, that we may have a problem, and we may have to change our timing, or something like that. But there is an allusion to the idea that Kendall and Shiv have been working together. Now, all through this time, to the family, Kendall and Shiv still look like the same pair of vipers that they've always been, kind of snipping at each other's heels, insulting one another, blocking one another's progress. But I guess that the idea here is that they are going to spin Logan around like a top for a while, and then right as it gets up against the shareholders meeting, set him up to push one of them out. Probably Kendall, and Kendall will take the heat, but bring Logan down with him. Now, Kendall comes out, does the press conference, says, my father was fully aware of the cover-ups and cruises. We have signed documents that Greg gave me. We have no idea when Greg and Kendall started officially working together, whether it's on the plane or whether it's way before when Kendall's buying Greg apartments. But essentially, the next shoe to drop is, does Shiv know about what Kendall did during her wedding night, when or if Logan will reveal that, and whether the grand design is Logan thinks that he's just taking down Kendall, but what he's doing is setting up Shiv. So when he brings down Kendall, Shiv steps in.
I like it a lot. I have a few qualms just because I'm not sure how good an actor is. How good an actor is Ken?
That's a great question. This is the only problem with not showing it to us, right?
Is all these like beaten dog acts, moping around, eyes welling up with tears? Roman say, "Are you okay, bro?" Yeah. Like that, just looking traumatized all the time. Is that all a put on? How much of that is a put on? Just a devil's advocate.
No, do it. Yeah.
There's all these kind of interstitial scenes throughout the series where, post Safe Room and in and around there, where you see Ken on a plane or wherever, and he's just looking at documents.
Crushing
he's
documents. Yes.
Crushing
Yes.
documents all the time.
Always in the film room.
Greg saved like 2 printouts.
Absolutely.
Max.
Absolutely.
Of the, who knows, maybe 50.
That he randomly grabbed while
randomly
Tom was
grabbed
running for a lighter.
out of like
Yeah.
20 legal boxes of documents. He grabbed maybe 20, and of those 20 that then got burned, he saved maybe 2. Is that all? So I feel like Ken must have more than that to go this route. And then my other thing is, it really feels like Shiv is taken aback at this, because Ken kind of has
Do you
her.
think that's a sincere reaction that she's having? You could be totally right.
I don't know. I do like your theory. My devil's advocate working theory would be, Ken this whole time is thinking, my dad's going to kill me. I don't want that to be the case, but I think he might. I think he will. But I love him, but I want to please him. But in case he does, I have to be ready to go.
And maybe even sincerely to balance the scales for what I did on Shiv's wedding night, I deserve this.
Right. On some level, I deserve it, but just in case it happens, I'm going to gather all this material. And then when that's proved true, he is truly devastated by that, because he didn't, while he expected it, he also is shocked that it actually happened.
Yes.
And when he goes nuclear, he knows that he's likely costing his siblings, potentially costing his siblings their fortunes. And also, I mean, he has Shiv dead to rights too, in the sense that he could say, well, Shiv Roy claims to be, this kind of like progressive, forward-thinking person, pressured a witness into changing her, into not testifying before Congress.
Right.
How does that look for her? I do think the shoe to drop is,
What does Shiv know?
what does Shiv know about what Kendall did?
Yeah, and I think that is like the major question. And the fact that we're asking this question at all, the fact that we're in the dark about this stuff, is different than where we were last season.
For sure.
Last season, everything was very much on the all above board. It was Kendall is making these moves against his father. We saw all his machinations.
Yeah.
Then we saw his, and he would, pretty much against his will get dragged into certain things like bachelor parties or weddings, even though he was ostracized from the family. And then he kind of slowly comes back. And then after killing a guy or being involved in a guy's death,
in the death of a
he comes back soaking wet. Logan brings him in and knows that he has this unbelievable blackmail over his son and can make him ultimately pay the ultimate price for it. But I do think that we are led to believe that lots of stuff is happening off screen. And we're going to talk about this throughout this episode of Number One Boys, where you see characters make pretty significant changes in their behavior from episode to episode without a ton of exposition about why that's happening. So we can kind of get into that stuff by getting into buy or sell. Did you listen to the last Ryan NBA show? A lot of people thought that I had no takes and no insight into the game of basketball, and actually wasn't that well versed in even the headlines of the day and really even what team most people played for. But I was dead catting.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, it's like
That, what is that?
It's when you don't know anything about basketball, but you still have a podcast about it.
Oh, so that's me too.
And Jason, what's your first buy this week?
Taking the initiative. We talked about this a little last episode, where the Roys and people involved with them, Gregory, Carl, Frank, are in this situation, Jerry, where it's kind of like the first one who flips has the initiative.
Yes.
And you saw Ken do that. Ken realized he was about to be thrown overboard, so he's going to be the one. He's going to be like Han Solo in the canteen. He's going to shoot first.
Right.
And I think that's where you are right now. If you were not, everybody on that yacht should have been thinking, okay, how do I go first and kill everybody in this room so it's not me that ends up being thrown overboard.
There's a really interesting moment, because obviously Logan does something very funny where he's like, well, it should be me, and everybody says,
no, Dad, no.
And then
Stop
immediately after they've gotten that kind of act of selflessness out of their systems, just like cut. Now, in the taking the initiative part, what did you think of Shiv selling out Tom?
I mean, it was absolutely.
But was it theater?
I think it was a kind of theater, that revealed more than it intended to, honestly. You know, of course it was theater, and she will say that to Tom. Oh, you know, like I had to say that to Dad. You can't give him the thing. You can't tell him what you. Characters have said this throughout this season. You can't tell him what you think. You have to tell him something else first.
Yes. Right.
And then try and backdoor what you think in there.
Yeah, that's what does Jerry say? It's a show trial. We're trying to get the entire Politburo on board for one person.
So yeah, I think that it was for show, but it was also clearly for real.
Now, my first buy is super yachts. This show never ceases to amaze.
Teak on the deck.
In coming up with different contained, isolating spaces for people to be stuck with one another. And there was also a little element of Survivor going on with like Jamie Laird getting voted off the island there. That was an incredible moment where Roman just kind of like cuts Jamie's throat there because Jamie's due to make a huge commission if that sail to the private wealth royal family of unknown country.
Turkey, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Like a little too on the nose there.
Yeah.
So I really love the setting on the yacht this week, not only because it was gorgeous and hilarious for rich people shit, but also like very like you can't get off. And if you have to get off, it's like you want to go riding around finding the cove without the sea urchins.
What an amazing scam Succession is running on everyone, on
God.
HBO, on the like, let's go to Scotland for an unknown amount of time.
If I'm like
let's go to a yacht in Greece and shoot.
Any actor should be like, get me on a every week I'm on Succession bit, because that way I just get to go to the nicest places in the world and do like five scenes of improv. So that I'm buying yachts. Jason's buying, taking the initiative. What are you selling?
I'm selling circular firing squads. It was just a terrible. It was a terrible look in that lunch meeting with Logan where he's just like, okay, you know, like let's just talk about it. Which one of you dies? That's the thing. Clearly, though, this is what Logan likes. Think of Boar on the Floor. Think of like putting Roman in a dog cage. Think of the way he puts Tom up for a job that somebody already has, that's already held by a person.
And Peach says he does this every 4 years.
He does it every 4 years. He likes to put people in a cage and have them fight to the death.
Yes.
And it's just a bad system. That's all.
It's a bad system, but it might be the only road to his heart.
Yeah.
Because at the very end,
that's a great point.
The last shot of Logan is him smiling for finally making his actual success.
Yeah, my son's a killer finally.
He might put Kendall in jail. Shiv might become the CEO. Roman could come from outside of nowhere. There might be a new character in the third season that we don't even know about who comes through. Stewie and Sandy could be back. I don't even know, but he knows that in that moment, he made Kendall into the thing that Kendall could never live up to being. I'm selling certainty. Because that's something that this show kind of, I think that the thing that makes this show so dramatic is that there's nothing certain about any of these relationships, whether you're married, whether that's a father-son, a brother-sister, lifelong friends, whatever it is. You also don't even know who people are all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
Because I think one of the things is Succession has expanded its purview and also followed different characters deeper, whereas last season it was mostly Kendall, I think.
Yeah.
Is we see this great kind of transformation of Roman into this incredibly shrewd, competent operator. We see Kendall, is he using? Is he really, really using?
Yeah.
Or is he just like socially using? Is Naomi good for him?
Right.
Is she bad for him? Seems like she's bad for him. It seems like at sometimes, but what was that whole thing with Logan being like, get her out of here because I don't want you fucked up on drugs. Right. But then when she leaves.
Yeah, he's like, what? Why does she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, that was like a strange moment. So there's a lot of like uncertainty with that kind of stuff, and I think that really came out a lot in Tom and Shiv's marriage, which is, I understand Shiv being like, I've got this very politically expedient relationship, that this like bread and butter middle America guy who's going to run the news division, and I'm going to be this person.
He's clearly inferior to me in every way, and also like almost achingly ambitious and needing to please people, and so I can control this relationship completely.
So what did you think of the beach scene? The scene where Shiv and Tom are on the beach, and she's reading Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, which I get is very, very funny that she's doing that, but is that very Shiv?
It does, you know, I feel like it is very Shiv. A lot of this end of the season is kind of like Shiv being exposed as a kind of like B-level strategist and mastermind, like a lot of her ploys kind of being peeled back for what they are. And I think, that really very uncomfortable conversation with Tom in their stateroom where he's like, I kind of don't want to do a three-way.
Such a funny scene. We're like, maybe we could have sex and she could just lock herself in the bathroom.
I think is really kind of like indicative of Shiv being exposed for kind of like being not really a great person.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Not to disagree with you. I'm
Sure.
not disagreeing with you, but is she just exactly like Logan?
Oh yeah.
Is she just basically trying to torture Tom into doing what she wants?
100%. The one that I'm consistently surprised by in this episode is Roman, who now all of a sudden is like, I'm going to tell my dad the truth. I have an opinion. I'm confident in it, and I'm going to say it in front of this room of total heavyweights. I'm going to stand up for Jerry, who he's in love with her, but I'm going to stand up for Jerry and not let her get fired. I'm all of a sudden like, hey, can we all go to family therapy so we can like talk like normal people? The growth of Roman is really, it's almost like, wait, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that you were supposed to intuit that the experiences that he's had over the course of the season culminating in him being taken hostage.
Sure, like almost thinking you're gonna die is a life changer for sure.
Hardened him and made him, he's grown a lot from the guy who blew up a satellite.
Yeah.
So that's a great look for him. So those are our buys and sells. For our number one boy of the episode, I thought it was a Shiv season. I thought Shiv was going to be the defining character this season. I thought that they were doing each season's going to be about one of the kids. It seemed perfectly set up for Roman to be the kid next year.
Yeah.
But it goes back to Kendall. Kendall is the differentiator of this show.
Literal mic drop.
Unreal.
Actual mic drop at the end of this episode, and totally thrilling. You could kind of feel it coming, but when he says "but," and then lets it sit there, and then there's that like shot of Carolina getting worried and everybody getting worried. It's just like, oh, yeah.
And we have a little bit of like evidence that he can do that because of how good he is at the hearings.
Yes. Just when he much like Carl says about Roman, you should put a gun to his head more. I think, put a gun to Kendall's head and he's just ready to, he'll show you something that you didn't think he had in him.
I thought that the actual setting in a press conference.
Yeah.
Man, that's such a great setting for like mic drop scenes like that. Like you remember like American President where he walks in and he's just like, I'm here to apologize for nothing.
Yeah.
Like you should apologize.
And it's a great bookend for this season because it starts out, episode 1 starts out with like a very forced.
That's a great point.
With Kendall coming out of like his Norwegian or Icelandic rehab to kind of like do a news hit to steady the shareholders that he is completely unready for, but manages to find the steel to like get it done. And it's also a great mirror scene of the season 1 charity ball scene where Logan, still shaky after whatever it is he's been going through, preempts Ken's speech in which he's going to announce really take the reins of Waystar, and Logan instead makes a speech where he's like, I'm stronger than ever and I'm in control.
Yes.
So really interesting like mirror moments.
Let me ask you, so we get to, because we're going to get into biggest burn and line of the week
Sure.
in just a second, but so we get to the end of this and we're saying Kendall's the number one boy of the episode, and I mean with that mic drop moment, you could argue the season.
Yeah.
Does it track with you with the guy who does Elder the OG 2 weeks before or a week before, whatever? Or does it track with you for the guy who almost takes off in a helicopter that he doesn't know how to fly with Naomi in what is it, Turnhaven?
Yeah.
Do you understand where he's been to where he's going this season?
I think I do.
And does it matter if you don't?
I think I do, even though I'm sure that I precisely don't. I just think that, like family dynamics like this are extremely complex. And it tracks to me that within that family dynamic that is like extremely unhealthy, and toxic, you would act one way, seeking to get some kind of like praise from a father figure, while also working in a very dedicated fashion to his downfall. Like, it makes sense to me. It's like, it's Oedipus is a story that is like 5,000 years old. Like, this is something that people write about and explore, is these complex
and ultimately,
relationships.
Logan got what he wanted. I mean, he turned actually 2 of his sons into killers, because you see Roman just cut Laird out. You see Kendall go after Logan, and then when it's on the table for Shiv, she won't give up Tom. She says, "Don't do this to Tom for me," and Logan is like, "Okay, then that's that." Even if he was always planning on doing Kendall. All right, let's get into the biggest burn of the week. If you do come over later, I have at the front door of my place is just like kind of wool slippers or whatever, because we just got the floor redone with elephant tusk. It's just all elephant tusk.
Just pure tusk?
Yeah, I mean, it's shined and sanded down a little bit, but it does scuff.
Okay. I've got a little weird foot thing, but that's fine.
I'm gonna go with Stewie. Stewie, who only had like 5 at-bats, went 5 for 5.
It's amazing.
Slugging percentage is incalculable. Here's his line as they are sitting over a gorgeous Greek lunch in Paxos.
Beautiful.
Dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. You can threaten to stuff 1,000,000 severed dicks into my ball bag, but the actual fact is we're persuading more and more shareholders every day that we offer them just a slightly better chance for them to make a little bit more money on their fucking dollar, and that's all that is. And that is both a great summary of Succession and capitalism. So nice job, Stewie. Great burn.
Mine is Logan to Khan when Khan comes around asking for just a little bit of cash.
Because he's just not liquid.
He's just not liquid right now.
He's got Austerlitz. He's got the campaign.
The campaign is going great. The con heads are fired
he's
up.
Spending $500,000 a week on this play.
A week on his girlfriend's play, and Logan says, "I heard you just $500K on a fake Napoleon dick."
Great work.
I mean, just hold on. The dick is fake?
Yeah.
Wait. You want to talk about like something that happened off screen? When did that reveal come down? Did we DNA test the dick?
I would pay, like just on like a subscription basis, like pay as you go. Let me get the scene where Connor finds out it's fake.
The dick is fake?
I would also do like a Birdman of Willa's opening night. Just FYI. Let's go to line of the week. That was burn of the week. Let's go to line of the week. You go for it.
Oh, I just, Greg is very hesitant to take off his shoes because he's got a nail fungus problem. And Ken and Naomi are teasing him, and Ken says, "Sales out, nails out, bro." Which is just an amazing, my second favorite line from Ken all season, my first being, "Are you like a poetess?"
You said awesome too much. I really we gotta acknowledge the Tom trying to sack up to Logan scene.
No, man.
Where Tom comes in and eats Logan's pheasant or whatever that like small bird was. And Logan's just like, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck?
And then he says to Shiv, "He ate my fucking chicken. What's next? He sticks his dick in my potato salad?" I feel like potato salad would be beneath Logan Roy.
Absolutely not eating potato salad.
Okay.
No mayo for Logan Roy. So after I got done with the hearing, it's like I had so many things that I wanted. I should have been like,
You playing it over in your head?
yeah, I was like, "We're jamming. I want to jam it with you,
No, I know.
Senator. We jamming. I hope you like jamming too, sir."
Let's get into Finance 101, where Jason and I, all year, we've been giving you winners. All year, we've been dialing up blue chip stocks.
That's
right. Only the highest A-level cap stocks. What did you see this week that you feel like our audience needs explained in terms of the world of finance?
Well, when Roman and Laird and Carl are laying out the sovereign wealth deal for Logan, Carl says, "Exit horizon about 6 years." So what an exit horizon is,
It's a Sam Neill film.
Sam Neill film about heading towards a black hole in which Satan lives.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and Sam Neill takes his eyes out, and Lawrence Fishburne's like, ah! So essentially, what are we talking about then?
We're talking about another plane of existence that's just filled with demons and the darkest kind of like satanic stuff that you want. You want to kind of hold that off for as long as possible. So you don't want to go there. Like if you 2 years too soon, 6 years maybe. A lot can happen in 6 years.
In the Keynesian sense, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into Let Them Eat Cake, the crazy rich moment of the week. Stewie again. Again and again and again, Stewie! The sniffing lavender as the palate cleanser after a beautiful Greek cheese plate.
That's a God move.
I had not seen that before.
I didn't
let me
even.
tell you something. I've been to a lot of cheese shops in my life. It's a longer story that I want to get into right now. I've never done the lavender thing, and now I'm wondering: have I been going to the wrong cheese places?
Yeah.
Have I been missing out on the Paxos like Taverna lunch experience that I have to be a billionaire corporate raider to experience? Also, like the sort of striped shirt.
Amazing.
What an amazing thing.
It's kind of like. You know, the first time you eat at like a really nice restaurant or go to a really like a wealthy person's home and eat dinner or whatever, and there's like 50 different utensils and you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I feel like that lavender move, I didn't even know that was possible. That was like Bob Beamon doing the long jump. I didn't.
That was like the 2-hour marathon.
I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know that was like Eddie Van Halen finger tapping or something, or like man walking on the moon. You can sniff the lavender. That's a move.
I didn't even like.
That's what it's for.
Is there lavender on every like restaurant table and I don't even notice, and only like incredibly rich people know like you're supposed to cleanse your palate? Have
I been doing my garnish wrong?
What's your let them eat cake moment?
Asking your dad.
Yeah.
For just. Yeah, I'm not liquid right now, but if I could just get like a little $100 million to just tide me over because my escort girlfriend's Broadway play is tanking. Also, the sand is giving people parasites. And also, I bought a fake Napoleon dick for $500.
How much money at any given point does Logan have to just CTC?
It's $100 million is. Can you just give a person $100
He's also
million?
talking $50 million to Caroline, to Lady Caroline for the expense of her shareholder vote. Presumably, he's spending a ton of money covering things up at any given moment. And also, is like every single is he underwriting the travel for everybody who's like going all over the world? Like, so every single person gets pretty much a new yacht-appropriate wardrobe.
Yes.
Transportation in Mercedes-Benzes.
Yes.
Private plane, private cars.
Yes.
To a private yacht with a private staff who are also down to be part of threesomes.
Right.
Constant
Some of them.
Food and drink all the time. I mean, we're talking about how many millions of dollars did just that weekend cost? To say nothing of Turnhaven or Jestes.
Well, I wish the rosé would have been better. The rosé was okay.
It's just a preference.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a preference.
You can't help but notice.
Let's talk a little bit about predictions for season 3. Obviously, there's going to be a season 3. I don't even think they've announced it yet, but I mean, it's a given. This is a very successful show for HBO.
Yeah.
Partially because like it makes people talk. And so, what are we going to be talking about next season? I think that the battle lines are being drawn if Shiv reveals that she is in cahoots with Kendall.
Yeah.
That the Shiv, Kendall versus Logan and Roman thing is there. What do you think?
I have two thoughts. I think there's going to be a battle on two fronts, as you noted. I think it's Ken not only fighting with his dad for control of the company, but fighting the court case that will come out after it is revealed that he was involved in the death of the waiter from Shiv's wedding. And then I think, broadly speaking, I think Succession's going to win a lot of Emmys next season. I feel like this was like, first season was like, oh, what a surprise. Second season is like, oh, they can really do this.
Yes.
And then third season is like, okay, reap the rewards.
We're now in the Mad Men, Sopranos kind of like crown this show place.
Right.
I guess like I wonder whether or not if you had to just guess, would you say that the show would be more effective if season 3 starts the day after the press conference, or like 6 months after the press
I think
conference?
6 months after. I think it's going to be the war is on when you come back to it.
It's
I would
like,
imagine.
okay. And like we've kind of like a lot has transpired in
Right.
between. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching Number One Boys this week. Thanks to our crew, Mose, Ronik, Sean, and everybody for watching. For Jason, I am Chris. We'll be back next season.